Shalom. Only give all praise to Yahweh Shimi Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akim out there spreading this truth like wildfire. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners who look like the other nations, but the Spirit bears witness that they're the children of Yahweh Shimi Shai. And shalom to the real sisters out there. Alright, this morning I was meditating on how, these devils, they don't want the tribes to link up, you know. Basically they how they got our people divided. They don't want our people to link up, especially come link up and come back to our heritage. They don't want us to come back to our heritage as Hebrew Israelites. They want us to, they want us to think that we're these different bad words that they call us, like so-called black and Latino, Native American, just named to Americans. Esau don't want to see the tribes link up and remember our true heritage. They'll keep trying to changing it and keep on saying an error occurred, wait a moment, then try again. It is what it is. Esau don't let's leave it out. Hold on. Something went wrong. Esau got mad. See, these damn devils don't want to change it to something more. Alright, so change the title to this. I'm just gonna look up scripture. It's not letting me change the title of this. Esau is mad, calling him out, making it difficult. is just ESAU. Devils, I'm telling you. I'm just gonna bring it out. Whether the title says, title says what it says. Just gonna bring it out anyways. Alright, so look at scriptures. Alright, so go to this short little live. So I only got that much juice. Let me look up crafty council. This is all part of that. Psalms 83, verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Basically plotted on our people. Verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more remembrance. And part of how they have already done this, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. We no longer know ourselves as Hebrew Israelites. Now we know ourselves as so-called Black, Latino, Native, and for the speckled birds who, they think they're so-called white, so-called for them that's scattered among Esau. It just depends on what nation is scattered among. Scattered among Arab, Arabs, Israelites, that they Arabs some type, They don't think that they, that nation or whatever power they're being called among the so-called Arabs, among whatever heathen that they're scattered among. They're gonna know themselves as that, not Hebrew Israelites. Also, how we've kind of been cut off from being a nation. We're instead a bunch of different nationalities. Kind of how these devils have accomplished it. One way they have is through this covering cast that has been placed on all people, including ours, really, so that our people would know who they are. Isaiah 25:7. But we're the number one target. Isaiah 25:7. And he will destroy in his mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. The covering cast is over all people, especially our people, at home and abroad, and the veil that is spread over all nations. But the Most High Yahweh, He is destroying that covering cast through, using His prophets, and even the whistleblowers from their own people. blowing the whistle, exposing the ass, exposing so-called white man as being Esau, for example. Nobody exposing them as the wicked. Who is Esau? You know. So, the covering cast is being taken off for all nations, including his own people, which is, how Esau has not been able to hide himself. He shall not be able to hide himself. That's that kind of goes into that Jeremiah 49:10. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places. He shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is full, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Meaning these devils are eventually going to be done away with. But let me get to Deuteronomy 28, going into them bywords, which is one way that our people's heritage has been basically covered up. One way. Deuteronomy 28, and also let me get into some other scriptures too, kind of like emphasize that more. But Deuteronomy 28, and hold on, Deuteronomy 28, and get it. Deuteronomy 28. We'll talk about a proverb and a byword. Proverb and a byword. Get it. Yeah. Deuteronomy 28 and 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither Yahweh shall lead thee. You know. Yeah, And that's what's happened, these powers have actually, been pushed on us to become our identity. Our false They've been pushed on us, you know, they tell us that yeah, that's who we actually are, to deceive us about what our identity really is. And that's how our heritage has been stripped from us. In Jeremiah, Most High Yahweh, he told Jeremiah that even he would lose his heritage, even thou shall lose your heritage. We're getting that all back, through because the Most High Yahweh, He sent His Son Yahweh Shai to basically, to redeem our people, basically be that sacrifice so that our people would be good in the eyes of the Most High Yahweh. He sent His Son Yahweh Shai, who world eagerly knows as JC, and but then really he's not a Greek or a Hellenized Jew, man. Really, and the letter J didn't exist back then, seems no way possible for that to be his actual name. That's something else they deceived us about, gave us and taught us another Yahweh Shai, man. Have us calling him a different name and everything. And having us call the Most High Yahweh simply God or the Lord. That's also something else, that they did. Not wanting us to have the names. They hid it. They hid the names from us. But yeah, that's part of our heritage too. Even thou shalt lose thy heritage. Con. Let me get it. I'm just looking up scriptures so that and that causes that screen to black out. So just beware of that. If Esau was fucking with it, I don't think you would hear shit. Jeremiah 17:4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. Yep. Even Jeremiah, because before he was Jeremiah, he was still else. He shows you come back too. So the shit, they shall die. Basically, you go off, you gonna pay for, by death. So before he was Jeremiah, he was someone else. So he's probably going off. So yeah, we was punished by our. Well, one way we was punished was our heritage being stripped from us. That your heritage includes who you are, and not that was fulfilled when they took us from our, partially fulfilled when they took us from our land and all that. But it was fulfilled in it was ultimately, there you go, it was ultimately fulfilled, in, this time around, this captivity, the American captivity, is fulfilled, to the fullest extent. And so, let's get this, in Hosea chapter 1, because that's Jeremiah, he went to the southern kingdom, the kingdom of Judah. Hosea was a prophet to the northern kingdom, the so-called Latinos and Native Americans. Let me get that. Let me get the Hosea 1 and 8. Now when she weaned, hold on. Now when she had weaned Lo Rama, she conceived uh, uh, and bare a son. Verse 9, then said Yahweh, call his name Lo Ami, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your power. And there you go. You're not my people, you're not the Israelites. Verse 10, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea. This is happening today, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power, in that same place. Or where's that place? America. Been around the world, but we get oppressed mainly here in the States, mainly here in America. Yeah, where it was said unto them, ye are not my people. Yeah, that was prophesied to happen to both the southern and to the northern kingdom. Yeah, so it was prophesied for our people to basically lose their heritage. And let me get to And that's how our people came to be. People was that's how they lost their heritage, and also we was also scattered among all nations. I mean, call those bad words. Isaiah 11. Isaiah 11 and 10. And that day there shall be a root of destiny which shall stand for insolence of the people. So it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. The Gentiles that are gonna have that rest, talking about these Israelite foreigners, these because our people became Gentiles. I just brought out. Our people became strangers. Verse 11, and it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. So, from Assyria, Iraq, northern Iraq, from Pathros and Egypt area, I believe. The ancient Egyptians is what? They were so-called Africans. And also, and the modern Egyptians, or modern people that are in Egypt today, the Ishmaelites. You have them scattered around really too. From Cush, that's Ethiopia, and from Elam, from the Iranians or the Persians, all the way to the East Indians. And from Shinar, all these countries that was a part of like India. So it include them too. Basically from Persia to fucking Bangladesh, basically. All them countries. That's Iran. And from Shinar, that's that's ancient Babylon, alright. But also we're in modern day Babylon, you know. As well as Assyria, we're modern day Assyria, we're modern day Egypt. Shit. Some literally our people are scattered in these places, but also, you know, the places symbolically Assyria, symbolically Egypt, and symbolically Babylon or Shinar, and that's America. And from Hamath, which I believe it's in Hamath is in that area. It's okay. It's in Syria. Okay, Hamath is in Syria. So yeah, our people scattered in Syria and from the islands of the sea. Just talking about those islands out there in the Mediterranean, how our people scattered there, as well as the islands of the sea, where those people are located at. The original people of those islands, the original Europeans, which is not so-called white people. They're not Edomites, they're Japhites. Those original people that eventually, that made their, that eventually, they ended up in the Pacific Islands, migrating southeast. And, our people are scattered among them. Like some of them Samoans are niggas from the islands of the sea. Verse 12, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. You know, it's about the northern kingdom, which are we outcast wherever we at. You know, whether we because whether it's talking about so-called Latinos and natives, which make up the bulk of the northern kingdom, or the northern kingdom that is scattered among the other nations, because the 10 tribes are also scattered, and the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Judah was also dispersed from the four corners to the four corners of the earth. Also this 13. Bring this out. Kind of goes into reverse all those curses and how they mainly hit our people. Also, you got this one right here, the so-called black people versus the so-called Latino rivalry. The envy also of Ephraim, that's the envy of these so-called Latinos and natives, shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah, so-called black people primarily, shall be cut off. Ephraim, so-called Latinos and Native Americans primarily, shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. Because you also have that. You also have primarily so-called black people not seeing so-called Latinos as a people. So they're to do shit to vex them. Seeing them as their enemies. Now that's gonna basically that's gonna come to an end. These devils once our people really come together, these devils are through, man. These devils and heathens are through, which is why they plot to keep our people, down, keep our people divided and shit, based on carnal reasons. Verse 14, but they shall fly, because verse 14, but they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west. They shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. That's why they fear this. Let me get let me get that verse. That one verse. Ezekiel 37, talking about the dry bones. That's our people, particularly here in America, known as Babylon the Great, known as Sodom and Egypt spiritually in the Bible. Ezekiel 37 and Ezekiel 37 talks about it. The hand of Yahweh was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of Yahweh and set me down in the midst of the valley which was full of bones. Verse 2 caused me to pass by them round about, and behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. Verse 3, he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord, power thou, O Yahweh, power thou knowest. How that knows. Verse 4. Again he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith, thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh unto these bones. Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. Verse 6. And I will lay sinews upon you, will bring your flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. You know, uh, verse 7. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bones to his bone. Verse 8. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. You know, they started telling nod to their identity and all that, who's oppressed and all that. You know, and our people, go through similar shit with no breath. They don't got, they ain't got the spirit. They ain't got the Holy Spirit that will cause us. They ain't got to see the full picture, basically. The spirit of truth, to see the full picture. Verse verse 9. Then he said unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy son of man, and say to the wind, thus say the Lord Yahweh will come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. And you slain by him. Verse 10. So yeah, that's why we both, we're slain both physically, but also, mentally, spiritually. While we're spiritually dead, our people are spiritually dead and mentally dead as well. Verse 10. So I prophesied, hey, our people are the walking dead. Verse 10. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them. They lived and stood up on their feet, an exceeding great army. The elect, the house of David, stand up on their feet and be like an exceeding great army, which is why, not up to Revelation 11. Revelation 11 and Revelation 11 and 3. And I'll give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days clothed in sackcloth. That's all that's symbolic. 1,260 days. All that. The fact that they call two witnesses is symbolic. Verse 4. These are the two olive trees. It's talking about the elect from both kingdoms. Let me bring it out though. These are the two olive trees and two candlesticks standing before power of the earth. Verse verse 8. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceeded out of their mouth and devoured their enemies. And if any man who hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. That's both symbolically speaking about, they try to make moves on us, like we bring it out, you know, basically we prophesy their downfall, basically, this word, that fire, but also, when the spiritual powers hit, that happen as well. And if any man will hurt them, like literally, he must in this manner be killed. Verse 6, these have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power of waters to turn them into blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. Verse 7, and when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that sitteth out of on the spit. Also speaking of past as well, our people had power. I was witness to the powers of the Halbashim outside, when people had that power. Also different prophets as well. Coming to prophesy to the northern and southern kingdoms. Yeah. Verse 7. And then when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. Verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. And speaking symbolically of the image of our Lord Yahushua has been crucified. The image of the image of our Lord Yahushua, has been crucified. They say he's a so-called white man with long hair. Like not even close to how he really looked, how he really looks. Revelation 13 now 15 describe how he really looked, as well as Daniel, the verses talking about he got legs of brass. It's polished. And when you look at that word there, word there, the even word for it is burnished. So burnished brass is dark. Speaking of burnished brass, look, that legs, the arms and legs look like burnished brass, basically, like in color to burnished brass. And the feet, Revelation, hair like wool, it all adds up. Hair being constantly described as wool. Who is described to have woolly hair? What nation of people, What so-called nation of people? The so-called black people. So it's plain. He is obviously a so-called black man with a huge white afro and a huge white beard. Eyes red from drinking wine. Like Genesis chapter 49 goes into about Judah. Because Yahweh Shai, our Lord, sprang out of Judah. The image of his image has been crucified. It lied on his image. It lied on what he represented. And he didn't come to abolish the law, statutes, and commandments. Neither did his apostles. Because he was doing his will. He was doing his father Yahweh's will. And what did the Most High Yahweh say? He will not change. I change not. So that just cuts all that. I change not. And he stated, Most High Yahweh, his will is not gonna change. What he say, that's this law, that's what gotta be done, it's gotta be done. It's gonna be done that way continually. Like the law is not done later. Yahweh Shai is that sacrifice for our sin. that unblemished lamb, you know, because he never went off as our Lord Yahweh Shai, you know. Malachi 3 and 6. For I am Yahweh, I change not. Therefore, you sons of Jacob are not consumed. So, because he changed not, the sons of Jacob are not consumed. So, that cuts what they say that, oh, he came to do away with the law. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Or, you know, basically they crucified his image on here. And they demonize what he really represents. What this word tell you not to do, because he used the word. The word became flesh. So what this word tell you not to do, not to be a faggot, not to yeah, it's not right for mankind to sleep with mankind as with womankind. They do it anyways. They tell you to do it anyways. And if you tell someone that that's wrong, you're homophobic. If you believe it's wrong, you're homophobic. Uh, tell you not to cut off your private parts. Literally tells you not to be a tranny, man. Tell you not to cut off your private parts. What do you have being bigged up, being promoted here in Babylon, bro? What do you have? AK Sodom and Egypt. What do you have being promoted here? Oh, if you chop your rod off your brain, man. Look what they did for Caitlyn Jenner. Put made Caitlyn Jenner Person of the Year, I believe, that year. Caitlyn Jenner original name is Bruce Jenner. No, that's a man, you know. Hey, the chromosomes was not changed. He's XY got XY chromosomes. That's the dude. Um, teaching you that teaching you that basically Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai basically made a mistake because Yahweh Shai created us in the way the Most High Yahweh designed us. That that Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shai made a mistake because he created people that have male bodies that was really women is what they basically say, and he created people with female bodies that are really men. So they're basically saying that he made a mistake and crucifying his image on the media all over, all any way you can look at it. You know, those other ways I brought out. You know, crucifying his image on the media. You know, trying to prove it, failing, but through propaganda they get people to believe it that we evolved. We evolved, that our people evolved all the way from fucking bacteria all the way to where we are today, you know? Which don't there's so many holes in that theory. They won't bring out the holes, they won't bring out the artifacts that was made up. Like you look into the popular artifact where they say proves evolution or almost proves it. Or basically, you know, it's like the missing link, right? I'm about to wrap this up. But they say that because my battery low. But when you look into it, it was made up. When you look into it, it was made up. It was a fucking forgery, bro. To get you to believe that. And get you to not believe in the Most High Yahweh, your son Yahweh. Get you to believe that you came from a monkey. You know, or we evolved. We wasn't created. You know, that's Esau Edom turning things upside down. Turn like what's yeah, that precept, you know, that's the potter's clay, you know. Let me get that one. I'm gonna then I'm gonna wrap it up. Do a part two. It's deemed as the potter's clay, you know. Isaiah 29 and 16. Surely you're turning of things upside down. shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. Or shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? That's what they say. Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? That's exactly what these devils say, man. And that's how they crucify our Lord every day, man. So because there's a way of doing it. It don't just mean nailing someone to a cross literally. You could there's a you could crucify someone on the media. How? By basically coming against what they say, over and over, basically like demonizing what they say, slandering the image, slandering them, what they say, their image, and like all that, crucifying them in the media, crucifying us in crucifying our Lord and us, in the education system. Salakia, didn't know I had those. In the education system, in the education system as well, in the everywhere, well, the full system. It's not education, it's school system, really full system. In the so in that as well, in Hollywood, shit, entertainment industry, everywhere you look, they're crucifying our Lord, All right, but with that, you know, they come against everything that he is, man. I'll be back, I gotta get that charger plug, all this live part one of this live was edifying. May go out to highways and byways later on. I want to give all praise to Yahweh by Shimmy Al Shai.